It's our time. One love. It's Paperboy Prince. Excuse me. I'm running for mayor this year, 2025, as well. And, well, I got my playlist up. Well, it looks like, guys, that Donald Trump just said that he is ending congestion pricing. Um, let's see. Let's look at it. Uh, okay, it says the New York congestion pricing tolls staying on after Trump administration moves to end the program. So this is basically an update uh, where Donald Trump's and the Secretary of Transportation said that we're ending congestion pricing in New York City, and then Kathy Hochul, who is the governor of New York State, comes back and says, "Hey, the tolls are staying on." So basically, their plan is to try to keep the tolls on until the um, federal government forces them to turn them off. Now, here's my thing. First off, I got my clown makeup on. I did a lecture today, and that's why it's a little messed up. I will be on with my clown makeup more, but it'll be done better. But after that, I was out for a bunch. But okay, so let's get right into it. As President Trump attempts to end congestion pricing in New York City, Governor Kathy Hochul says the toll scanners will stay on. Nearly 2 months into congestion pricing, the program's future has been thrust into limbo as it faces serious legal challenges. Hochul called the Trump administration's decision to revoke its approval an attack on the city, and the MTA filed a complaint against the U.S. Department of Transportation to reverse it. The controversial tolling plan was approved by the Biden administration last year before launching on January 5th of this year. So it did need approval of the Biden administration to go into effect because there are federal funds that are dispersed for roads and different things around safety and all of that. Um, so, so yeah, they're saying, the MTA is saying, under the rules, the federal government cannot unilaterally terminate the program once it's begun. There are lots of ways where it can get terminated, but they always have to include the agency that's running the program. Also, the MTA, which is New York's agency that runs the trains and the buses and all of this stuff, it does get a decent amount of money from the federal government as well. So that's why they are under, they have to adhere to certain things the federal government says. Okay. What else did I want to see in here? So the Trump administration sees it differently. It says you can't take American taxpayers who paid for roads and block them out and say you can't access this unless you pay additional money. That's what Transportation Secretary Duffy said in the administration's defense. The MTA filed a complaint and said it will not turn off the toll readers anytime soon. Officials say there is no contingency plan for losing that funding, which accounts for nearly $15 billion towards improving mass transit. Okay, so I am personally not the biggest fan of congestion pricing. As someone who has driven in New York City, I do like the ability to kind of have open more roads, not have to worry about traffic as much. Um, Parking being easier in New York City. These were some real effects that I saw, and I think that's good. But the flip side is that I know that a lot of days I have more funds than most, right? I have more disposable funds, and it ends up being, if you, it disproportionately affects low income people, because and the folks that are proponents say most people who are low income ride the train, and that's true, but then there are still large amounts of people and families that depends on cars. For example, there's a family in a building that I have my store in, my gallery in, and this family has a car. It's a Latino family with 5 people in it, and I'm pretty sure they're not rich. Maybe they have an investment portfolio that's insane and I don't know about, but I'm pretty sure they're not rich. They also, they're great people. They have a car. Their kids play sports, so sometimes they're going to the sport events. They're going to practices. I know the dad does side jobs outside of his main job, so sometimes he needs a vehicle to do some of that blue collar work. The mom mainly stays home. They have a car. They're not rich. Folks are barely making ends meet. Sometimes the ends might wave and say, "Hey, I see you over there," but folks are barely making ends meet, and they find a way to have a vehicle um, to help make their life easier and more safe for their family. But that does not mean they're doing well, and that does not mean that they can afford the $9. Now, I don't know how much this family, for example, goes into Manhattan. I have a car. I don't go in Manhattan too much, mainly for like nightlife or special events that I'm booked for, speaking engagements, or the gym. I go to different gyms, and sometimes I will, drive. It's just simpler. You don't want to be super sweaty on the train. That's my situation. And then we also have the bus, where I will, will distribute food and pick up food and, give it to families in need. And so I'll do that with my bus, the Love Tank. But yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. My point in saying that is I've seen some of the advantages of it. Now the issue is the disadvantages being that it hurts the amount of people in Manhattan in general. I really feel like it hurts businesses, and most of the folks that are politicians that support this, they've never owned a business. I have. I've done it. I'm currently doing it. Online businesses and a brick and mortar business, one that has my name on it, right? So what's my point to say? I'm not saying that to pat myself in the back. I'm saying that I have this lived experience. Am I saying should we bend over backwards and do everything for business owners? No. I think there's enough of that going on in some instances. But when it comes to small businesses, who will be most affected? When it comes to minority businesses, who will be most affected? When it comes to women-owned businesses, who will be most affected? When it comes to legacy New York City businesses, who will be most affected? I think that matters. I also think what people care about, people be like, oh, businesses, da-da-da, doesn't matter. But what they care about in their community is their local coffee shop that is cool, is that local bookstore or a local bar or these different type of community, what's the word, centers that matter and that make it special, and they also are barely making ends meet and having extra costs or losing even 7% of their customers, right? Say only 7% of their customers drive. 93% were took the train or walked, but 7% of their customers drove every month. Those businesses can't afford to lose that 7%. They can't. Especially post-COVID. The ones that were able to, like, pre-COVID, they might have been able to make it. Post-COVID, I don't feel like they can. It's tougher. So this is one of the big issues. Another big issue which they have in this article is, how are you going to just now all of a sudden say, we're charging you more for the road all the time, and it's $9, and it's going up to $15 in 2 years or a year. Dude, $9 is a lot. That is not nothing. Like, that is not cheap. And I get that it's supposed to be a deterrent. I get that it's supposed to stop people from wanting to use their car. But $9, that works way too good. $15, that works way too well. And in the economy, I did a video about this, about the New York City job market being trash. The economy in New York is already bad. It's not good. It's not good. There's already enough issues with the New York City economy, and now you're making it even more stressful by adding another tax. That, for example, I have a friend that was looking into working Amazon Flex, which is a job where you use your car and you can deliver packages from Amazon out of your car in 3 hour, 1 hour time blocks. But okay, now you're only making a small amount of money in doing this. Now, with this extra tax, and they might reimburse you. Amazon actually might reimburse you for these taxes and certain tolls, and so there's that. But the point is being said is that all of that is pushed onto the customer. That's pushed on having less workers, having they now you're gonna have less cars on the street doing this. So that's one part. The other part is it's a congestion pricing. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Paper, yeah. The other part is it's a congestion pricing, but it's not focused on the key driver of congestion, which is Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft, when they first started out, people were like, wow, Uber, it's so cool. You can use your phone and get a car anywhere, and that is great. I've used Uber, I've used Lyft. Like, I think I will continue to. But they have no cap on how many cars they can have on the road. The taxi services used to have a cap of how many taxis. You could only have so many taxis. There were laws there are laws. Uber and Lyft, because it's supposed to be citizens using their vehicles, which it's so regulated in New York City that it's basically not that. It's not really people using their vehicle on the side. It is folks maybe leasing vehicles specifically for the task of Uber. And yeah, they have no cap on how many cars they can have. They can have so many cars, and it's going up year over year. I'm pulling up one of my tweets. Let's see. I will read through it and see what some people say. Okay. I have a question for congestion pricing advocates. You swear it's so popular, and that polling suggests everyone in New York City loves it, right? And you say you like democracy, right? Then why not leave it up to a vote, a referendum? Anyone can see travel patterns since COVID have drastically changed, so a reassessment of the need for congestion pricing was warranted. Why does everyone that says congestion pricing was so popular so afraid of leaving it up to a vote? Kathy Hochul purposely canceled it before the election and then announced it almost immediately after the election. It's because they know it's wildly unpopular, and most advocates are getting paid directly from lobbyist groups like Transalt or Uber and Lyft. Reminder, Uber and Lyft have no cap on how many vehicles they have in the tri-state area. They're the biggest drivers of traffic and congestion while extracting wealth from New York City, their biggest market. That's right. New York City is their biggest market. These companies doing well in New York directly reflects on their stock price. These companies doing well in New York directly reflects on how many, on how well the company is doing year over year. If they can boost the numbers in New York, and if they can have control over the transportation economy in New York, and personal vehicles are in the way of that. And it's no secret that New York gets, New York could have a permitting program for cars that would even incentivize more people to register their car inside of New York State. But the reason they don't is they make so much money off of tickets and tows. They make so much money. I mean, why would you do that if somebody had a permit and their car could be there every day or every day from a certain time, then it's fine. But now since they have the street cleaning, literally, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. I used to, so I need to look up the more recent numbers. And they also dropped the amount of people that are doing ticketing. It used to be, before COVID, it used to be crazy. I mean, before COVID, I promise you, every street in New York maybe had 2 or 3 ticketing officers on them ready to go. And if you're not familiar with New York, it's different than other cities where, maybe a police officer will do it, or they'll have like folks in NYPD cars, but there are so many of them and they're just focused on writing tickets. And they're still pretty heavy in Manhattan, but in the outer boroughs, it is like slowed up a bit, at least definitely in Brooklyn and Queens. So they make so much money from that. And the drivers have always been a uh, place to kind of extract more money from because they have your car. They can take your car. They can tow and boot your car. So that's why people pay. It's not even because people have so much money; it's they can tow your car. I put my registration link. Also, um, this my Cuomo "Stay Out of the Mayor's Race" song. Okay. Also, Uber and Lyft are backed like unlike taxpayer. Yeah, VC backed unlike taxpayers. We spend our real money while they are spending the bank. Exactly. Also, the latest statewide and not citywide poll. Those commissioned by Partnership for NYC. Yeah, Uber and Lyft been flooding the streets with thousands additional cars year over year. This person is saying we got regressive conservative Paperboy Prince art for GTA 6. That's funny because to me, like, I don't feel like this. That's me saying that like this is this tax is too expensive. Because if congestion pricing was like $2 or $3, I think it would be wild to complain. I don't like it, but I think $2 or $3 toll to go inside New York City, I can understand it. I can be talked into that, honestly. But $9 feels insane. That feels insane. People are broke out here. That's insane. What? And $15? That's come on. Come on, man. That makes you a conservative. This is the problem. These people are pushing folks more towards Trump. They're pushing people more towards right because it's the right. Because as soon as you disagree on one thing, you're conservative. As soon as you're like, yo, I feel like that tax is too much, you're conservative. So you have to be on the, you have to be in line with everything. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. So yeah, we got some good comments here. Oh man, I want to end this video because I don't want to even get into all of it. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Paper. Yeah. Make sure you like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I honestly want to know you guys' thoughts on congestion pricing. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you kind of on the fence? Do you think we maybe should try it some more, or do you think it's something that should be ended? I mean, I think that right now the city isn't doing well enough to sustain a tax, and I think it only benefits folks that are. It primarily benefits folks that are doing well. I think it also promotes gentrification. I think this is a gentrification driver. As someone who's watched these like little things that add to gentrification, I think this is the thing that heavily adds to gentrification and it needs to be spoken up about. And then the liberals and the white liberals don't care. So there's that. Also, they say, "Oh no, but you don't get it because it's going to help fund. It's going to help fund the MTA." But I'm like, look at the map. I don't have it here. I don't have it prepared. But if you look at the map of the proposed changes, most of them are happening in affluent areas, in rich areas in Manhattan, in areas where the average cost for an apartment is five grand, $4 grand. And you're telling me that this is supposed to be something that is going to help working class people, and these changes won't be done for a decade. It'll be, an elevator that's added over the next decade, and they're going to spend $20 million on this one elevator. funding is depending on congestion pricing, that all your funding is depending on making sure drivers still drive, and $9 every time they go in Manhattan, that doesn't seem sustainable to me. That doesn't seem fair. It definitely sounds like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It sounds like another tax. It sounds like this is a slippery slope of tax that now, why are you going to start charging for public services that have been normal, that have been open? Streets. It's a street. Now you're going to charge somebody for a street? What is next? Public schools, you're going to start charging extra charges every day for a public school, or sidewalks. I mean, it's a street. Folks already pay the registration costs of having their car. They already pay the tax costs associated with buying the car, the tax costs on gas. They already pay parking costs. They already are paying the parking tickets. They already pay. New York City has the most tolls per mile in its area. So in the New York and New Jersey already has the most tolls. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Paper. Yeah, I'm also running for mayor, so this might be something that where you don't support me, but it's something where some people I feel like we're in alignment on. So let me know what you think. Paper. Yeah. All right. Peace.